Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So I have my old strawberry bed, and what I'm going to do is, now these strawberries are looking a little bit tired and a little bit worse for wear after the harsh winter that we've had with the storms and the rains and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and rejuvenate these beds ready for the growing season going forward, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing that. So this is a strawberry bed. You can see the raspberries have started to creep over, and the strawberries come all the way down here, underneath this plum tree, down here. And you can see I've started to do a little bit of work, starting to pick up the old dead leaves and pull out some of the young plants. Now what I'm going to do with this is, those plants were planted last year, so I'm going to leave them. I'm going to just tidy them up, weed them and leave them as they are. I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull out all the old plants, anything over than 3 years old, and I'm going to save the runners, and I'm going to plant the runners into this space. So there's loads of weeds in here. I mean, that's an old plant, you can see that just from the size of it. I'll show you, I'll pull one of them out and I'll show you its root. So these are the really young plants. They're still attached to the runners. There's one. I mean, some people do pot these up, plant them in pots and let them take root there. But what I'm going to do with these is, because they've got a decent sized root system on them, is I'm going to take out all the old plants from this bed, mulch it afresh, and then plant the young plants in again. So that's one of the young pups there. That's one of the young runners that's grown from the parent plant. So I'm putting these to one side so I can use them. And there's the parent plant, but it's just full of weeds at the moment. So what I'm going to do is, we're going to weed it, take out some of these parent plants, compost them, and keep the young plants. So you can see the type of stuff that I've got. See, that's a very old plant. You can see that from the size of the root that's on it. As the plants grow, the roots become more like tubers and bigger and fatter. But once they reach third and into their fourth year for definite, they're way past their best and they stop producing as well as they used to do. Now these ones in this little section here and up to that plum tree, they're all quite old. So they're at least 4 years old now. So we're going to pull these and we're going to start replanting all the young plants. There's loads of dandelions in here as well, look. See, there's the whole strawberry root. Look at the size of that. Let me get a bucket and then I can chuck all these plants that I'm going to compost into it. And I'm going to weed it while I'm at it. All these weeds, these are perennial weeds that need to come out. Look at that. They come back every year, these garlic mustards, and there's some garlic mustard here, and there's some other weeds that I'm not sure what the names are, but they keep coming back every year, mixed with a bit of couch grass. Now all this stuff that I am pulling out, I will compost it. So there's no runners on that, so that can all get binned. Oh, there's a young runner there, so we'll save that one. That's a young one that we're going to save. And this can all get composted. So I started off with the idea that I'm not going to dig, or I'm going to try and disturb the soil as little as possible. But it doesn't seem possible if you can look at these roots. What I wanted to do is I wanted to loosen the soil and pull out the roots of the plants. But it's getting really difficult because of how boggy this is and how deep some of these weed roots are. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to dig it all over and take out these perennial weeds. We're not doing bad. We've almost made it up to the plum tree, so we'll keep continuing and keep getting these strawberry plants out and deciding which ones we're keeping and which ones we're throwing away. Now I think it's time to start adding my mulch. And what I want to do is I'm going to raise this bed up at least 6 inches above the level that it's at already. Now what I've got here is some aged wood chips, and you can see as soon as I put it down, the chickens have just gone mental for it. These wood chips are about a year old, so we'll put these down first. So there's my bed now. It's completely mulched and it's ready to be planted into. So anyone who says that wood chips are not a suitable habitat for strawberries, I want you to have a look at this. Now this is a runner that's taken root inside a piece of wood, and the wood's fallen apart, but there you can see the roots are doing lovely inside that piece of wood. So I'm not going to let that one go to waste. I'm going to plant him inside my little bed. What we're going to do these plantings is we're going to make these little pockets in the wood chip, and I'm going to just fill it with compost. So a pocket of compost, and then in goes my little strawberry plant. So the strawberry plants that I've saved, take these rotten bad leaves off, and there's my strawberry plant. That goes in, all the roots go in, lift him up and fill in around him. So once that all that compost is snug around the roots, pull the mulch back on top. There we go. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to fill this bed with all these little strawberries. Each year what we do is we work like this and we renew a section of the strawberries, taking out all the old ones, putting in the baby plants and giving them the best chance we can. There we go. A bit more compost around there. That's it, lovely. You can afford to be as generous as this when you're using your own compost, because it's free and you're making it with stuff that you'd otherwise throw in the bin. So you can see that plant there with all the mycelium around it. That mycelium will be a mycorrhizal type more than likely, and that's why it works in symbiosis with the plants, and so it feeds the plants. Yeah, so as the wood chip breaks down, it feeds the plant, and in my experience there's nothing like wood chips to build soil fungi. And it's important to have a good mix of both bacterial and fungal dominated soil. So that's my last strawberry planted in this bed. Now I'm not going to have to touch this bed again for at least 3, maybe 4 years, until these plants have gone past their best. This year they should deliver a nice crop of strawberries. Next year they'll get even better, and they'll get even better and up until their 4th year. That's how we grow strawberries around here, in wood chips, completely for free. It's a little bit of work for a couple of hours, but now you've got a nice bed of strawberries that'll go on producing fruit for at least 3 years before you have to touch it, maybe 4 years. And they'll continue giving you runner after runner after runner, so you can plant over and over again, so you can fill this garden with strawberries if you wanted to. Don't forget, if you like what you've seen, do hit that like, do hit that subscribe, and I also produce videos on Patreon. Now Patreon is a way of gaining sponsorship for some of the videos and some of the work that we're doing around here, and it just gives us that little bit of help to support this channel. So if you would like to support this channel, do consider becoming one of our Patreons. So I'm going to leave it there for this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.